We've all been there. Someone you care about, a partner, a parent, a friend, treats you like an option. They disregard your feelings, they're inconsistent, or they flat out disrespect you. And what do we usually do? We react. We send the long text. We cry to our friends for 3 hours. We check their Instagram stories to see if they look sorry. But here's the cold, hard truth. Your reaction is their reward. When you react, you are handing them the remote control to your nervous system. Today, we are taking that remote back. We aren't just talking about moving on. We are talking about the art of detachment, the ability to stay completely unbothered while someone else tries to disrupt your peace. And I want to be clear about something from the start. Detachment isn't about becoming cold, robotic, or pretending things don't hurt. It's about refusing to let someone else's behavior become your emotional emergency. By the end of this video, you won't just know how to walk away. You'll know how to stay centered while you do it. Phase 1. The psychology of the hook. Why is it so hard to stay unbothered in the first place? Because your brain is working against you, and it's not your fault. When someone treats you poorly but then gives you a breadcrumb of affection, your brain releases dopamine. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the same psychological mechanism behind slot machines. You don't keep pulling the lever because you always win. You keep pulling it because you sometimes win. The unpredictability is the addiction. You aren't in love with them. You're in love with the version of them that occasionally shows up, the one that gives you just enough to keep hoping. And here's the other layer to this. When someone mistreats you, your nervous system reads it as a threat. Not just emotionally, physiologically. Your cortisol spikes. Your brain starts problem solving. Why did they do that? What does it mean? What should I say? Your mind tells you that if you think about it long enough, you'll find a resolution. But ruminating isn't problem solving. It's just suffering on a loop. Most people react because they feel like the mistreatment is a reflection of their value. But here's the truth. How someone treats you is a map of their internal landscape, not yours. People who are at peace don't disrespect others. People who feel secure don't belittle others. If someone is rude, inconsistent, or cruel, they are revealing their own lack of integrity, their own unresolved trauma, their own poor communication skills. Why are you taking a them problem and making it a you problem? You don't need to figure them out. You need to come back to yourself. Phase 2. The gray rock method. Now, understanding the psychology is one thing, but what do you actually do when you still have to interact with this person? Maybe it's a coworker, a co-parent, someone you can't simply cut off. You need a tactical tool. It's called the gray rock method. The goal is simple. Become as interesting as a gray rock. No emotional peaks or valleys. Short, factual answers. Yes, no, I'll let you know. 0 personal information volunteered. When they try to bait you into an argument, you don't bite. When they say something designed to provoke a reaction, you give them nothing. Here's why this matters. You don't explain why you're hurt. You don't justify your boundaries. You don't defend yourself at length. Because an explanation is a gift, and they haven't earned it. When you stop providing the emotional fuel they're looking for, 2 things happen. First, the interaction becomes boring for them. Second, and more importantly, you stop reopening the wound every time you engage. You stop giving their behavior a place to live inside you. Phase 3. The internal shift. The so what mindset. Tactical tools handle the outside, but detachment is mostly an inside job. It's not just about what you do, it's about how you think. You need to develop what I call the so what mindset. They didn't text back. So what? You have a life to lead. They're hanging out with someone else. So what? And that's their journey, not yours. They lied. So what? Now you know exactly who they are, and you can make decisions accordingly. This isn't about being heartless. It's about radical acceptance. You stop trying to fix the situation or change their mind. You accept that they are choosing, actively, repeatedly choosing, to be someone who doesn't deserve a seat at your table. Think of it this way. Imagine you have 100 energy credits every single day. Checking their social media costs 20 credits. Replaying the argument in your head costs 40. Crying over a what-if costs 30. By noon, you are bankrupt. You have nothing left for your career, your health, or the people who actually love you. Every minute you spend obsessing over how someone mistreated you is a minute stolen from your own life. Stop spending your currency on a bad investment. Phase 4. Rewriting the narrative. We often stay bothered because we keep telling ourselves the same story. I wasn't good enough to make them stay. If I just explained it better, they'd understand. Maybe if I change this about myself, they'll finally treat me right. That story has to go. Think of emotions like weather. Rain is real, rain is valid, but you don't cancel your entire life because it's raining. You acknowledge it, grab your umbrella, and keep moving. The goal isn't to feel nothing. It's to feel it and not be governed by it. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Move from being a victim to being an observer. Old script, they are hurting me. New script, I am observing their behavior and deciding it doesn't align with my standards. On when you move from, they are doing this to me, to, I am watching them do this, you gain immediate emotional distance. You stop being the person in the story, and you become the person studying the story. You aren't hurt. You are collecting data. And the data says this person is a liability to your peace. Ask yourself, is my reaction right now coming from my values or from my wound? Act from your values, not your wound. Phase 5. Building your unbothered fortress. Understanding. All of this is one thing. Maintaining it in real time, when the urge to reach out hits, when you see them pop up online, when someone mentions their name. That's where the real work is. You need a protocol. The first tool is the 24-hour rule. If they send a breadcrumb text or do something that triggers you, wait 24 hours before responding, if you respond at all. In those 24 hours, the chemical spike in your brain will settle. What felt urgent at 11 p.m. will look completely different by morning. The second tool is a digital detox. Mute them. You don't have to make a dramatic gesture of blocking them if you're not there yet. But mute them. Out of sight, out of mind is a cliché because it works. If your eyes aren't landing on their face, your brain has less material to loop. The third tool is boundaries. And I want to be clear about what a boundary actually is, because most people get this wrong. A boundary is not a punishment you give someone else. It's a decision you make for yourself. Yeah, I won't continue a conversation when you speak to me that way. I'm choosing to limit how much access you have to me. I'm not going to keep investing in someone who consistently makes me feel less than. You don't announce these like ultimatums. You just live them, quietly, consistently. Because here's the thing, you don't set boundaries to change another person's behavior. You set them because you refuse to keep paying the price for someone else's dysfunction. The fourth tool is filling the void with micro wins. When you're detaching, you feel an emptiness. That void is real and it needs to be filled, intentionally. Go to the gym, learn something new, clean your space, cook a meal you love, call a friend who genuinely sees you. The goal isn't distraction. The goal is to prove to yourself, repeatedly, that you are your own primary source of joy. Phase 6. Dealing with the relapse. Let's be honest. You might have a weak moment. You might check the profile at midnight. You might send the text you swore you wouldn't send. Do not beat yourself up. Shame is the enemy of detachment. If you slip, simply say, "That was a moment of weakness, and it doesn't change my worth or my direction." Then get back on track. No dramatic self-punishment. No spiral. Just a quiet return to yourself. Detachment is a muscle. The first time you try to lift something heavy, it's hard and it might shake. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're training. The more you flex this muscle, the more you choose your peace over your impulse, the stronger and more natural it becomes. Every time you don't send the text, you win. Every time you close the app without checking their story, you win. Stack those wins. They add up. People think the ultimate win after being mistreated is getting an apology, or watching the other person fall apart without you, or them finally realizing what they lost. It's not. The ultimate flex is when that person's name pops up on your screen, or you run into them in public and you feel absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no bitterness, just a quiet, neutral recognition that they no longer have any power over you whatsoever. That is freedom. That is what we're working toward. You are the CEO of your life. You decide who gets an all-access pass and who gets turned away at the door. If someone mistreats you, they have effectively resigned from their position in your life. Your job is simply to accept their resignation. I'd wish them well internally and move forward. You are too expensive to be treated like you're free. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What is one thing you are going to stop giving your energy to today? Write it down right now. Make it a contract with yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Stay peaceful. Stay unbothered.